Okay, welcome to another Field of Glory 2 Digital League Season 8 battle. This is Classical Antiquity Division A. I have the Romans with the Greek allies. Nosy Rat brings the Indians. Probably getting tired of me saying this, but I'm pretty sure I've yet to beat Nosy Rat a single time, although I have drawn with him a time or two. So the Indians are interesting. They were pretty heavily nerfed early in the game's release cycle, and people kind of stopped playing them for a while as a result because they were no longer overpowered, so they felt weak. But they're still a strong army, and I believe Nosy Rat will demonstrate that very clearly soon. They can get huge numbers of elephants, which are pretty effective against impact foot. Heavy chariots are basically shot cavalry with bow. Light chariots, so superior light chariots with bow, they can evade, but they're not technically a light unit, so they can cause automatic cohesion drop. Very good unit. Bargain bin Indian cavalry, 32 points, can't go wrong with that. Heavy artillery is not that useful because it's only good if you're camping. Nomad light horse archers, I think, are a bit expensive for what they offer. Light artillery, very good. Range of 6, it can force action where your opponent doesn't want to move. Close fighters are your bog standard protected light spear, swordsman, medium foot. They're not going to be useful against most of my units unless those units are already disrupted, which is quite possible because of the mass of Indian archers that are available to him. So in previous matches, I've often got a pretty expensive Roman army. That's probably not going to be the way to go here. I am forced to bring some impact foot, but I think I'm going to want offensive spearmen, cheaper infantry in general, and a screen of light infantry. I'm not very happy about needing the screen of light infantry because a lot of my lights are expensive 30 pointers and they're just going to get shredded no matter what. But I believe I will need them to advance into the storm of arrows. I should bring some elephants of my own. And some armored cavalry because they are cheap, and a light javelin horse. That only leaves me 370 points to work with for an infantry line, assuming I don't want to invest in FoGII, which could be useful. So I'm not going to get these 80-point veteran legions or 70-point pike phalanxes, or I think even these 60-point Hastati Principes or warbands. Instead, we're going to get lots of more affordable units. I don't normally bother with Torakitai, but the armor could be useful against archers. I'm even tempted to grab Triari, despite their small unit size, but I might instead go with the raw pike phalanx unit. I'm taking the FoGII over the cheaper swordsman types because offensive spear actually get POA against elephants. Okay, so 100 points left. I don't really want to, but I think I should get the FoGII. I just might need the cavalry, and that could be a mistake, but it's really impossible to tell at this stage. And we'll grab some Italian foot as a reserve. So, although we have a nice hill and stuff, we are not going to be able to camp this. You're either going to outshoot me from the front with mass archers, or push around with too many light units to my flanks that I have to advance. This is not going to be a camping game. as much as I love to camp when facing Nosy Rat. We'll general up the raw pike phalanx. Its weakness is its failure to pass cohesion rolls, so if we can make up for that. Okay, so this Roman Greek army is just not very good for this sort of situation. Yes, it can get a lot of lights. They're overpriced for what they can do, and their only purpose is to screen the army after that, get out of the way. It's a lot of points for a screening force. I can only get 2 units of light javelin horse. I would love to be able to get 6 or 7 of them to charge those massed archers, but I get 2. Armored cavalry is fine for this kind of situation. Hastati and Principes aren't really going to be able to shine against elephants. Really, and Thurioforo, although they can move through rough, and that's nice, they're also medium foot, so they might cohesion fail. Really, I feel like facing the Indians is one of the very few situations in the league where you'd be better off with a traditional hoplite army of heavy-foot offensive spearmen. But otherwise, those armies are not too great to use after the biblical division. So, we'll see how he deploys. Next turn. Nosy Rat is being modest here. Don't expect too much, he says. I am expecting very much. Okay, a strong cavalry wing. Straightforward, he knows that I can't just sit here and get shot at, so... Get some light support over here for the cavalry. And extend the line a little bit. I considered moving my elephants over to the right flank to help with the cavalry battle, but we might just need them in the center. And our lancers should be a good counter to their heavy chariots if they can reach them intact. Big if. Okay, so we're just going to charge forward and hopefully not disrupt too much from archery and just crash into them. Next turn. Oh good, it's going to be pretty straightforward. If we move 2 tiles, he'll have to move before shooting, so that's what we'll do. It's a little unfortunate that we are lagging behind with this Italian foot. We're going to gradually lose the flank action thanks to all this firepower that's showing up in the form of the light and heavy chariots with bow. And once my cavalry are disrupted, they'll be on pretty even terms, or slightly worse than even with the Indian cavalry. The Thurioforo will slow him down, but I'm sure he suspects they're here. So the key is going to be, can I crash through the center, more quickly than I lose a flank, and that's going to depend on one, how well I can screen the infantry from his archery, and two, whether I disrupt on contact with the elephants. If I don't, I should have a good chance. If I do, things could rapidly go downhill. My guess is that things will rapidly go downhill because that's generally how my games against Nosy Rat go, but we'll see. Next turn. Fine start. Okay, the shredding of our light screen begins. I'm going to stay just out of close range fire, which might save some of my men briefly. Just gonna have to tank some arrows. It's gonna be very ugly. Uh-huh. I wonder what will happen with that. I'm going to... Am I... Yes, I'm going to risk a disruption on my elephants. They're generaled up. Okay. As always, my money's on Nosy Rat when I'm playing against him, but people will get to do some damage before we go down. Next turn. Of course. Ouch. Well, that's too bad. That's also too bad. Okay, goodbye the right wing. I took that risk. Okay. Well, that was awful. On the bright side. little choice but to push these forward, even though they're just going to get charged by elephants. I suppose I could try to fall back, but good impact. See what we can accomplish. Hold firm, of course. Ah, so annoying. Very ugly, as expected from Nosy Rat. I think we will get some breaks in, but I don't think we're going to manage to catch this wing in time to do anything. He'll fall back here, then we move up here, and then he'll either fall back again and take cohesion tests, or just shove the elephants forward, and neither is good. I think I will... Oh, we're in charge range, we might. Cohesion test. Held firm. Grotesque as always. Right, oh, of course. Of course. Now, more curious than I am about how Panther Boy is going to, or I'm sorry, getting everyone confused, and how Nosy Rat is going to crush me in this battle is, how is he going to crush me? How is he going to crush everyone else, rather? It's not that this is a horrible army for fighting the Indians. Ouch. But it's definitely not the best in the sense that it relies on small numbers of expensive troops, and that's not really ideal. Ouch, for this kind of situation. Okay, at this point we have decisions to make. That's decision 1. This will hurt, but the Triarii are so high quality that they'll probably recover. This will also hurt. I wonder if I should move the FoGII instead. I don't think so. I think it's our best. Oh no. Then you have to try. Right then. Something for it. Can't catch them, but don't really want to stand and get shot at. we can move and get shot at instead. This will allow us to get some damage in at least, even if our cavalry get chased off soon. See if you can catch them. Oh, that's right, they evaded. Yes, 2% on the table. So it already could be worse. Looks like I invested too much in a now not particularly useful skirmisher screen. These elephants, they're just worthless right now. I need them to rally. Okay. Well, we're going to get rolled up from the right, but I think we should be able to at least do a little bit of damage before we get rolled. Alright, our total stomping continues. Alright. Goodbye, everybody. Nosy rat, must you be this way? And of course he had to start this by expressing his doubts and fears. That was just a complete oversight on my part, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know that I ever will win a match against him. Now you rally. What a good bet of us. No good. We could charge and disrupt ourselves and then flank attack and invite another flank attack. But the alternative is to charge and then invite a flank attack. So that's what we're going to do. Maybe you'll hold with the general. Nope. Fragged, of course. You stay fragged too. But yeah, as usual, this is completely over. A little bit of luck went our way, at least. Good. Confirm. Yeah, it's hard to say exactly what I should have done differently yet. Maybe I over-invested in skirmishers, for one thing. But I didn't really see what choice I had. I guess I could have just not gotten any skirmishers and sank all of those points into higher quality heavy foot, not bothered screening my army and charge, but I'm unsure if that would have gone any better. I'll probably ask Nosy Rat what he thinks I should have done differently instead. We'll at least move so that we get shot at from a different angle, for whatever that's worth. Ouch. Well, 7% on the board? That's something, I guess. Actually, you know what? I'll take 7% if it doesn't get any rallies. That'll at least put me better than the late Antiquity match. Onward. Okay, Nosy Rat thinks that maybe I should have just ditched the giant skirmisher horde and just brought as much heavy foot as I could. Next time, I suppose. In the meantime, we'll continue to get massacred. Ouch. There go our elephants. One chance we had to accomplish something. Held firm across the board. I just flee from the whole situation now. It might be worth attempting a disrupt even against pursuers, just because we do have javelins against elephants. Held firm. Now our implosion should continue. What do we even do with you? You're screwed. Just go kill some people and then die. Well, yet another game against Nosy Rat brought to a rapid conclusion. next turn, I'm guessing, should be the end. Nosy Rat is giving me a little salve for my bruised ego here. He says I've probably beaten him before, but he says probably, so he can't even remember. So I'm not sure how much that should be making me feel better here. But no, it's really good to have players that you always lose to. You know, losing's the best way, or losing to a better player anyway, is the best way to learn the game. And you know, knowing that there's still something to achieve is motivation to keep trying to get better. Not that I would not enjoy the game if I always won all the time, but it would probably be a little bit less exciting. I wonder if we're going to survive one more turn of combat. Looks like we are, for some reason. Well, I can frag this unit, but it doesn't really matter because I can't break them. Well, we might as well put in the work. I want to see where this unit ends up. Well, not exactly what I had in mind. A few more points on the board. $17. All right, I think that's going to be the best we'll do this season, unless the Hebrew versus Cimmerians game goes better. By better, I don't mean winning. I mean more than 17% casualties. So this has no chance, but sitting here getting shot at also has no chance. So we'll just do it. All right, and that should be, in fact, because that should be the last turn. Oh, I can't. I don't have AP. Okay, that should be the end of the match. All right, and the end. So Nosy Rat says he thinks I should have not invested in skirmishers, but simply sank points into infantry instead. Perhaps that's true. I do worry that if I had done so, I would have disrupted on contact with the elephants that he would have put in front of his archer line, and them broken anyway. But perhaps with higher quality infantry, this sort of mass collapse wouldn't have happened. So I think next time I fight an Indian army with this sort of heavy foot army, I'll give that a shot. It's also kind of interesting to think about. I was fighting his massed archers in this built-up area with my Weletes. The game has been patched, but the patch does not alter the troop stats of ongoing games. Had I been fighting with the current patch, my Weletes would have had 50% swords with which to cut up those archers. Wouldn't have won the game or even significantly changed it. I'd just be curious as to how successfully Weletes could fight masked archers in melee. Anyway, as always, very educational to lose to Nosy Rat. It's been a pleasure. Good game, and until next time.